Bro, I don't know. I don't know. I loved the regular Jetta so much that they allow you to exchange it. So I exchanged it for this 2026, 0 miles. Well, now it has 22 miles. GLI, baby. Nothing crazy. Again, don't compare this to the Corvette. Don't compare this to a ZR1. But I'm going to show you guys exactly why I purchased this. Less of a boring car. I don't think it's boring at this point. This is so cool. No more twisty. Ambient lighting. Bro, come on. Ambient lighting. Push start. Heated and ventilated seats. Wireless CarPlay, you already know. Sunroof, that's a cool feature. Leather seats. Someone literally commented, I like the GLI more. So I listened. I told you, if you comment, I listen to your comments for the most part. And I was like, you know what? This guy comments on my videos. He watches my videos, so he must be a smart guy. I mean, anybody who watches my videos is a smart person. That includes you. Whether you comment or not, you're a pretty smart guy. So let me go check out the GLI. And dude, this is everything that's not, but more. And the fact that I don't have a car payment on this thing is what makes this chef's kiss absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely a pleasure to own. I honestly am so impressed with the Jetta lineup. So I know that Volkswagen got rid of the Passat, and then there's a talk of the Jettas also being deleted. So I don't know what is going on with Volkswagen and why they're trying to get rid of their sedan lineup. I don't think that there are other sedans. I know that there's the Golf R. Bro, I was gonna get a Golf R, okay? I had the option to get a Golf R, but they wanted $55,000 for that car. And at that point, when you're crossing the 50,000 barrier, bro, there's no point of getting a Golf R. You're better off getting a used Vet. You can get a used Vet. You can get a brand new GT Mustang. I mean, sure, it's a really cool tuning platform, but nah, man, I'm not spending 50,000 plus on a Volkswagen. That's not happening, okay? This car's MSRP was $37,000. They gave me a bunch of rebate. The amount financed was $26,000, and then they took the money that I put in the other Jetta and they applied it. I threw an extra 10 grand and boom, I bought this cash. Is it fast? You can hear the turbo. The turbo is very prominent. Is it fast? Again, I've driven very, very fast cars. I've driven Ferraris, McLarens, I've owned Corvettes. No, bro, it's not fast, okay? It's really something that is peppy. It's peppy. I think the best way I can describe this particular vehicle is that it's it's very peppy. It's got pep to a step when it comes to switching lanes, merging, you know, it's got the power. It's front wheel drive, remember that. It's not all wheel drive like the Golf lineup, but very impressive vehicle nonetheless. I mean, come on, bro. You're getting everything. You're literally getting everything. It is such a well-designed, elegantly built vehicle. And there are so many different views. Like you can see 29 miles on the dash. The person who was selling me the car and the finance department all knew who I was. So I thought that was so cool that I was buying my car from viewers. They didn't follow me, so I kind of have a beef with that. But hey, it is what it is. It's okay. They knew of me and they said, well, you bash dealerships. And I don't think that at all. If you came from Instagram or TikTok, like, I will expose a dealership. I'll show them the crooked tactics and stuff like that, the numbers and things like they pull on you, and that's on you, bro. But this dealership, I will say, was just straightforward, simple, no pushy tactics, no fly numbers. They didn't even push on the extended warranty or the gaps. They were just like, you want it? No? All right, cool. Drop the payment, you know. Cool guys. Shout out to you. If one of you is watching this, I don't know, what are the odds? So now you can't say I bash dealerships. I actually promote them when they're good dealerships, okay? Car buying is one of the worst experiences. I really do not like it. I am against it. But when you deal with a dealership that's just straightforward, no BS, it can become a very good experience. And you know, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I enjoy this car more than my Corvette. And I know what you're thinking, like, dude, this guy is tripping. There's no way he can enjoy a Jetta over a C8. But I'll tell you why. A C8 is a phenomenal car. I love that car. But it's so impractical. You have to be realistic. You're not gonna drive a C8 every day. That's your fun car, your weekend car. But how many people in their 20s have enough money to just have a weekend car? Duff. Bleep. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not gonna have a $74,000 car sitting in my garage and I'm not even driving it because 1, it doesn't have enough seats, 2, it's impractical on gas, 3, so much stuff, right? Like, I barely drove my car except for when, I guess, yeah, fine, I drove it to 15,000 miles in a year. I drove my car, but like, I caught it sitting in my garage. You get my point, okay? I saw it sitting in my garage more than I actually was driving it. Rather, I was going out with my family for dinner, or I had to go somewhere far, like, and it's not a road trip, like you want to preserve those cars too, okay? You don't want to really beat them up. because of the simple fact of a value. Now, if I paid $74,000 cash, I'd have kept that car. I would have kept it because it's cash paid. I would have always had equity. But you're gonna have an interest rate, especially when you're younger. You're gonna have a higher interest rate. So what happens is when you have a higher interest rate, around like 7, 8, mine was 8.5, the car will depreciate quicker than your loan gets lower, and that is how you go underwater. So get your notebook. If you're watching this video with full attention, I appreciate you, I love you, and I'm glad I keep you entertained, but learn, okay? You don't want to buy a car and go underwater. So either one, you buy a car you're gonna have for that full loan term. You're not planning on getting rid of it, you're just gonna have it forever. Then at that point, equity and all this stuff doesn't matter, okay? The Corvette was not my last sports car. One, it wasn't a Z06, so I really wanted a Z06, but they didn't have any, and I was super excited. I'm pretty impulsive, I'm pretty trigger happy with buying stuff, so I bought it. I didn't wait for the Z06 prices to come down. At the time, it was just newly 2025. Z06s were super expensive. So I didn't go the Z06 route. Could have gone the E-Ray route, but again, E-Rays at the time were super expensive. So I had that car in mind that I wanted to get rid of it. But then, as they started mass producing the Grand Sport, the Grand Sport X, the ZR1, the ZR1X, E-Ray, the Z06, like they have all these models. Not to mention, they went ahead and redesigned the whole 2026 lineup of the whole interior. So what do you think that does to my value of my Stingray? It drops it. So I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be underwater in this car if I keep it. And the dealership that I bought the Land Cruiser from gave me a very good value because I was buying their most expensive car on the lot, the Land Cruiser Premium Edition, whatever. Now, why did I buy a Land Cruiser? One, I wanted to get some off-road content. It did good, but I live in a suburb area. If you see all my videos, I don't live near mountains, I don't live near off-road stuff, so I can't really use it other than an SUV. So it's like, why do I have a $74,000 SUV? I mean, I don't go anywhere off-roading. It's just like, why? It's like a big why factor. So I drove that to 11,000 miles and I basically cashed out. I was still in positive equity. Do you see how I'm always gonna be in positive equity with my car? Because one, I put heavy down payments. The Vet, I put like 20,000 down. The Land Cruiser, I put equity plus another 10 grand. Always put equity in your car. But always buy a car that holds value very well, because you're going to screw yourself in the end, especially if you have a higher interest. Don't focus on the payment amount, focus on the retention of your car, because if you ever need to get out of it, you can. And do not ever lease. Don't ever lease a car, okay? Don't ever lease. I have the Cadillac, I still have that Lyriq, it's leased. Sure, my payment is 300 bucks, but don't ever lease a car. It's absolutely hard to get out of because your residual is going to be so high. The lower your payment is, the higher your residual is. Residual is pretty much your buyout. And then typically these cars that have lease deals are having deals because they're so shitty and nobody wants to buy them. So what do? They discount the car to a point where people are like, oh my god, the payment's 300 bucks, I can buy it. And then you get it and now you're stuck with a Lyriq that's residual is 56,000, and guess what the actual book value is? 35 grand, especially if it's EV. Don't get me started on EVs. Don't buy an EV car, okay? Point blank, don't buy an EV car. They depreciate so bad for the simple fact that there are no chargers, okay? So now that you have some education on my thought process, this car is my daily car, which pretty much means this car is with me for however long I can drive. I'll drive it into the ground. 4 years, 50,000 miles, you got me there, okay? 3 years, 30,000 miles, maintenance covered. You already know if you watched the other video. If you didn't watch the other video, well, now you know. This car is my daily. So while I'm saving my money to hopefully soon, I would expect it like, I think like 17 months, 16 months, I want to buy a Z06 cash. I don't want to finance. I don't want to finance cars. Someone commented, should you finance a Jetta? The problem with that is that majority of people, I'm not saying everybody, majority of people will finance a car because they don't have all the funds in-house. If you could buy the car cash, you don't need to finance comfortably. So, but like, people are like, well, if you finance, you keep your cash and you can invest. That's 99.9% of not the population. That's not what they're doing, okay? They're financing the car because they can't afford it. If you can buy it cash, yeah, I guess you can finance it if you have plans with your cash on something else. What I like to think of saving is you're saving the money because you know that you're intending to use it later. Otherwise, you don't need it, right? So just buy the car cash. If you save money, you're putting it away with the intention that one day I'm gonna need it. You know, it's my cushion. For what? I don't know. Well, one day, if God forbid I need it, I have it. That money is gonna be used. So what happens if you finance your car, you have a big loan, and then you use that money? Now you're in debt. You don't have the money. If you have the money to buy it outright. Don't finance. But if again, you can afford the payments comfortably, your interest rate isn't too high to where it depreciates faster than your loan, the numbers align. Don't force yourself into a financial situation just because you want the nicest Jetta. I think for that person who commented, should I finance a Jetta, you'll be very happy buying a used 2025, 2024 Jetta, because that's still within the, granted the mileage isn't over 50,000, that is still within the warranty range. So you will be better off buying a used car. If you're asking, should I finance or pay cash? If you can't pay cash, don't finance, go used, okay? Also, on that topic, if you're going used, go certified, okay? You get the extra warranty, extended warranty, better, you know, maintenance, and they sometimes they'll throw you incentives for buying the junk, right? This is like literally the benefit of buying a junk car, is that a dealership doesn't want it on their lot because it costs them money to keep the car on their lot. So why would they want that junk piece of shit costing them money? Take advantage of it. Life is about leverage. Don't get me started on that too. I have so much game to spit to you guys, but life is about leverage. So yes, even though you're financing, yeah, you're leveraging someone else's money and you get to keep your cash, but you need to know that if you keep your cash, you better use it for something and actually make use of the money you're not spending when you're not buying a car cash. So anyways, I'm at my haircut appointment. If you enjoyed this video, be sure you smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, turn on your post notifications, and comment below your thoughts on this GLI. And I'll see you bats in the next video.